Fire escape engineers inspect the summary video. Here we are in Downers Grove, Illinois, and we're looking at a fire escape. This is a pre-load test evaluation, trying to determine whether or not this fire escape is ready to be load tested. And two requirements: must be structurally sound, must be kept painted. At this time, there's enough paint on this fire escape, but structurally the fire escape has some issues structurally that prevent me to proceed to a load test. And I will point them out one by one, and then I'll step up above and I'll do that. So let's start off with, first of all, let's start off with just the power supply. There's some wood, looks like there was a cover of some sort here. Get rid of those woods, but the power supply is too close. Have the power company come in and put something to cover that, just in case you don't have any water. Number two, let's take a look at all the superstructure underneath. All the superstructure is made up of 1-inch solid, but sadly, they just welded. You can't have welds. It's not allowed. It's supposed to be bolted, so you can gusset some of these. We can make requirement. We can explain, but once you put a gusset on these, you can basically keep the welds, but by turning the, by putting some bolts into the gussets, you're going to be able to continue using the same 1-inch solids. All the angles, they're all welded. You got to pop some bolts through it. As soon as you pop some bolts through it, then we don't care about the welds. And the lateral load test of 200 pounds laterally in any direction is going to be avoiding the need for that load test. Notice that nobody cleaned out this weight. There's already deflection. You can see rust inside that connection there. So this weight box and the extra weights that you have here, there's some rust buildup on those. So those will be adjusted accordingly to go forward or backwards a little bit, because she's weighted backwards. That chain is an indicator that she's weighted backwards. That's not a proper way to have that stopper. That'll rip that railing if somebody was to let go of this too many times. This has to have a release arm so that when you step out onto it, she'll come down, hit the ground, and stay down. You may want to paint the surface here to make sure nobody ever parks a vehicle underneath here. So let's take a look. There was also another hit. Somebody hit this. As you can see here, this is already bent to the right. So in some cases, this may be an insurance possibility, because a truck could have been a moving truck, a cement truck, something that was high, but she was definitely hit. And obviously this is an improper transfer of the connection here. It's all welded again, can't do that. It needs to be cemented back into the building. As you can see there, it's not cemented. And also, when you look at these brackets, all of them have a simple rod where they just smashed it into the building there for the bracket. That's supposed to be a through plate with a plate on the inside, or you can do an epoxy bolt there, but you can't just put in a 5/8 rod and weld it where they have, like, that's not industry standard. All these railings, they all need to be bolted. As soon as you bolt it, you will eliminate the need for the load test. All the treads look like they have new bolts. These are all hex heads, so it looks like somebody did all the treads, and they probably kept the treads originally, but it looks like this cantilever is part of the system. Let's look up there to the top there. That bracket is incomplete. It's not correct. Again, they welded it there. There's a weld there. That's just not a standard bracket. Minimum they have to use is the 2x2 by quarter, 3x3, but everything needs to have a through bolt on the inside so it doesn't pull away from the wall and drop this whole piece. So that has to be redesigned and re-engineered, but it's pretty much the same way it's going to look. It can't be made up with, bars welded to each other. So whoever did this had some skill set, but they didn't know all the rules and all the laws. And you can definitely see the bend on this. So at this time, we cannot, set this thing up for a load test. The railings are pre-existing non-conforming, so there's 3 lines there. If the city official's okay with that as pre-existing, then that's the way they're going to stay. If there's no children, otherwise they could recommend that they put in a line or 2 more so that nobody passes through the very bottom, as you can see. The normal today is 4 inches on center, but this is pre-existing lawfully non-conforming from its past, and that's pretty much it for this fire escape. We're going to go on top, take additional information and photographs from above. Any and all cement needs to be dealt with. See, water's getting in this, so that needs to be repacked correctly. Cement here too, and we'll get some of that. But for sure, the welds, as you can see, it's starting to. The welds are all suspect. We're going to put a gusset on that. So whoever put this together can be brought back in and utilized to take care of this. And you see that big space that he left? Somebody, that's a little trip hazard right there, especially right by the window and by the door. Any questions, Fire Escape Engineers, 866-649-0333.